alles.
Test, test.
Actually, so far.
Test, test, test.
Oh. First and foremost, let us extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you gathered here today. We are really glad to see you all here. As we take a look around the room and see an incredible energy in this venue, it is clear that we are in for something truly special. Today we come together to explore what can only be described as another perspective. But what does it truly mean? It's about identity. Who we are and who we aspire to become. It's about acknowledging the diverse paths we have walked through, the journey of growth that have led us to this moment, and the limitless horizons. Life is a journey of discovery, much like traveling to unexplored territories, immersing ourselves in pursuit of knowledge. It's about meeting new people, engaging in new experiences, and seeking out fresh viewpoints, perspectives. And it's precisely what we are here to celebrate.
Whether you're an experienced entrepreneur, a dental student, or someone diving into the world of real estate, there's something here for each of you. There's a way. There's always a way, and it's your way. Keep on looking for it. You can always move ahead. Feeling stuck, feeling like you can't do it, unsure of your path, embrace your uncertainty. Move forward, step by step, and enjoy the present moment. Think about the small wins. Passing that tough dental exam that you've been preparing for the last 3 years. Or deciding to take that internship in Beirut. Yeah. Or deciding to take that internship in Beirut and reconnecting with your roots. Or it could be breaking your own personal record in 110 meters hurdles. It's, as you know, just not about the destination. It's about the journey, it's about the people that you meet along the way. Today, that is why today, everyone, let us come together and create connections that bridge gaps, where fun, laughter, and growth converge. Let this day be a platform, a hub, where you meet fellow travelers on the road to success, where you exchange stories, insights, experiences, inspirations that will fuel your own journey. Remember, the key to reaching your potential is seeking adventure, finding your way, and looking at things from another perspective. And on that note, we would like to express our sincerest gratitude for everyone who made this conference possible. Starting with the director of the Tripoli Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Linda Sultan. Please, a round of applause. And all the experts of the AP team who couldn't make it, especially Dr. Ivona Safi, who's not here today, but who's watching closely. Love you, Mom.
And our distinguished partners, Union of Arab Chambers of Commerce, Rotary Club Cosmopolis Tripoli, and the Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture of Tripoli and North Lebanon. We welcome you all at the conference, and we would like to invite you to our first discussion panel.
And it's the Technology Entrepreneurial discussion panel led by the one and only Ms. Grace Najjar.
Thank you.
Let's seek another perspective together. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Grace Najjar, the Managing Director of the Project Management Institute. I'm very much delighted to be here. First, it's a testament that people connection never end. Iona, who is the mother of Alexander, has been an old colleague. I think I can't remember how many years we worked together on a consultancy. And then that's the magic of the professional life, is everything disappear, but then you get a message, are you in Lebanon on the 12th of August? And I said yes. And she said, please come as a guest and moderate the panel. I think that's the magic. I forgot the project we worked together on. I even forget the year, but we kept the connection going. And if I see her tomorrow, we're gonna have the same warmth and the same feeling. And that's what life is all about. It's not about professional. We're no longer separating between job, work, people, connection, fun, as the gentleman said. I think we're more moving into this inclusive life, this society, the well-being. We're not anymore separating between, is it a job, or is it for well-being, or is it for society? All of what's happening is moving towards making an impact, starting by being successful, by connecting in a meaningful way that lasts for years, and then with that we can change people's lives. And I start with my own story. Why project management? I started with an engineering in electrical and technology, but then I came into the consulting worlds because this is where I connect with more people from I connect with governments, with Chamber of Commerce, with lots of stakeholders, and we deliver complex projects. And then project management came into play because everything around us is a project. Today's event is a project. And I'm somebody who likes change. And that's the contradiction that I'm gonna start my own story. We live every day this contradiction. From one side, we need to stay simple. From the other side, life is about complexity, uncertainty. We live in a VUCA world. So imagine you start an engineer and then you come into the education. You start as a medical doctor and then he's an AI. She's an MIT student and now she became a researcher. She started as a traditional and now she's into social enterprise. So see where we are in this world and the upcoming world. We're no longer stuck in boundaries, and I would like to congratulate the founders and this conference of two words that makes everybody's life different, which is beyond boundaries. If I was stuck of being somebody who likes math, I would have been a math teacher and now trying to find a job with all my passion to math and engineering. If he kept into surgery, he wouldn't have been as successful, and he's gonna hear his story. So it's all about embracing a new path and not getting stuck. And that's where we learn from you youth, because you are the dynamics of tomorrow. You are the ones who are simple, embrace simplicity, and not get threatened by change, and you could be flexible, and you don't mind failing. And that's why you are the one at the head, at the forefront of the world. Because of this, we can't be rigid in this world. We can't be stuck to one skilling. It's all about learning. Professor Hess, he spoke about not only learning, relearning, but hyper-learning. And that's my own story, because I didn't wait until I learned a theme or a topic so I can get a job. That's in consultancy, we do it every day. I took some missions, not because I'm experts in process mapping or in diagnosis or requirement analysis. I took the role, and that's what the confidence at the heart of this conference. And another perspective is that have the confidence, the courage, you can do it. And there are, Theodore Roosevelt, what did he say? He said, believe you can, you're halfway there. So we do not have time and the luxury, and do not keep on waiting to hear from mentors. Actually, we are the ones who hear from you. I've attended, we at PMI, we organized a big session conference in Dubai, and we invited Mr. Al-Abbar, who is one of the world's most successful businessmen in the whole world. And he said it in front of everybody. My own advisors are my son and my daughter, my 25 years son and daughter. You are our advisors. I'm not here, I'm not giving you, I'm not trying to raise your morale, but that's true. When we work with people who can't embrace change, who are smart but not modest. So this contradiction, you need to be smart, but yet you need to embrace empathy. You need to be direct, but at the same time, you need to be kind. So the mix of accepting to fail and be courageous and learn and hyper-learn, I think you have the dynamics, you have the energy. We still need this mix between simplicity but going out of the comfort zone. And that's my own story. I didn't sit and say, yeah, I'm an IT engineer, I can't deal with government engagement. I do not do that, I can't. No. Curiosity was at the heart of what I'm doing. Taking new roles, accepting failure, embracing people, accepting uncertainty. So those are some of the tips, and I'm gonna just, without any further ado, I'm very much excited to have with me such a diverse, first gender, we have the gender diversity, everybody is young except me. I'm gonna start ladies first, but just for the sake of being at my left side, with introducing Dr. Adnan Al-Bakri, who has a very unique, everybody has a unique story, but it's a little bit, exciting of being a surgeon, but now he's into AI and digital health. So there is an exciting story there. The transition, to my point, is that we can't be stuck. It's not meant, you might be passionate about something. Always, the young always ask me, yeah, I want to do what I'm passionate about. Who told you that I'm passionate about technology? So we generate passion, we just do it. Okay, just do it, and you don't know what you like or you don't like. You might discover, new paths and new boundaries. So he's gonna take us through the journey of being now co-founders. He's a true entrepreneur, and so sorry to tell you that sometimes we have the perception, and now it's another perspective, that medical doctors are so there is a bureaucracy, there is a strict, but now the innovation, the mix between technology and healthcare is what's gonna make the whole sector different. Really predictive sector, we're gonna move into outcome-based, and we're gonna move into real lifelong well-being. So again, wait until to hear your story. And at my right side, I have two young ladies, Noor Malouf, fourth-year students at MIT. She studied mechanical engineering and focused on design, and she spent her summer, she's busy again in the summer, with an undergrad researcher at MIT as well. She's gonna also help us understand what was she thinking she's gonna study, where she ended up studying, and what is she doing, what's the curiosity that is inside her, taking her, and what success means to her. And Julia Abbas is someone also with a very interesting story. She's an American Lebanese director of Roof and Roots. It's an association located in Tripoli into social enterprise, and she has a very, very respectful and recognized focus on empowerment of women, especially in the poverty, unfortunately, within the poverty crisis that has raised in Lebanon over the past year, given all of what's happening. She has been one of those change makers who have made people's life change and gets better. So I can't wait until I'm gonna start by unveiling the challenges, letting us know what's beyond what we learned, not a mentor speech. I'm gonna ask Dr. Adnan, first, you have a very touching story. What's the story without going into any confidentiality? What makes you become a doctor? And then we need to know what makes you go into the tech and mix between and ally between those two.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy being here with you today. It's a long story, like 20 years of story. I don't know how to make it short, but I will try my best. I am born in Tripoli, in a poor neighborhood. My family, and I would like to thank my dad who is here, my family was able maybe on a day-to-day basis to give us something to eat, but not all the resources to have healthcare. And that was the main thing that pushed me to go outside of Lebanon first of all, and then to study medicine. But let me tell you a story, which is a true story of my mother. When I was a kid, like 10 years old, I think, my mother was pregnant, and at the end of her pregnancy, she was bleeding. I remember we were at the apartment in Abu Samra in Tripoli, and it was kind of like an emergency, obviously. So we tried to find a way to go to the first hospital with a car stopped in the street, and we arrived at this hospital. I will not say the name, of course, and the entry to the hospital was declined because my parents did not have the resources to pay before entering the hospital, and it was an emergency, and I was seeing her bleeding. And it was really shocking, and this was the real story that pushed me to say, okay, stop now. I was 11 years old or 10 years old, and I started since then preparing myself to quit Lebanon, first of all, because I said, no, this is not. I mean, I love Lebanon, of course, but at the moment I was saying this is not a country where we can live, or we can have hope, or we cannot say to someone, pay, her wife is bleeding, and it's so basically since then I started preparing myself to study medicine, and it was a long road because I had to prepare myself to be able to be in France and to start medicine. So this is what happened at 17 years old. I left Tripoli with no money. We had 200 euros at the moment to pay the flight, and then I had to make my own story, my own life, starting by learning French and learning medicine and making what you now know about me. We can, of course, go into further details about my journey, but this is the main story of myself where I was in Tripoli.
Very touching. It's true. Thank you. It's a true pivotal moment. It's a pivotal moment, and sometimes, such incidents, the first reaction, I'm not sure whether this is organic. You are a doctor, you tell me. The first reaction is to be down. So I think what we're learning with all of the sciences around us is that when an incident that sounds negative to his life, which he have ended somebody on the streets. So it was the reaction. He turned the incident, which supposedly to be a negative, into a real trigger. And I think that's the trend. I see it happening, and I'm not sure whether this life, this VUCA world, is making us not being threatened by a negative incident. And believe it or not, life, what's happening, especially in Lebanon, in this part of the world, life now is about negative incident. But I see them not as threats. Our president and CEO, Mr. Pierre Loman, in a speech that we organized in Paris, in Schema University, he started by, I think, messages which was a little bit controversial to everybody. VUCA word is not threatening us. This is an opportunity. So we're changing what the old generations, they might be worried and scared, believe it or not. I am somebody who people think that I like problems, but for me, I want to be in an action. If we're not, and even doctors say, if we're not nervous, the energy might, we shouldn't stay in a cool zone. Sometimes even being nervous is good. Up until being shocked. So I'm just giving this mindset for the youth is that we're no longer surprised of something bad. And I'm one of those who I'm not longer surprised that my flight get delayed. I lost my luggage. The problems happen. So there is nothing that might surprise me anymore and should surprise us anymore in this world. The only surprising, if for me personally, if we get surprised, we shouldn't get surprised. We need to be equipped and ready, courage, confidence, and go ahead. Just open another path. So now I'm going to move on to Noor and tell me, because she had in mind a specialization. She was thinking about it maybe 10, 11, and she ended up somewhere else. So over to you. Let us know. Share your story with your same generation, with the old people like us, how you ended up doing what you're doing today.
Hello everyone. So what I'm doing today, I never thought honestly I would be doing my whole life. It was the plan. I'm gonna go to AUB, I'm gonna study there, and you know, and then things in Lebanon started to change. The situation wasn't as good anymore. So at that point I started thinking maybe I should study somewhere else. So I wanted to major in astronomy in the beginning. That changed to astrophysics, which changed to physics, which changed to aerospace engineering. And now finally, I like what I'm doing, and it's mechanical engineering. And honestly, like, things almost never go perfect to plan. And it's important to not stick too much to it, and people change, things change, and we should just embrace that. Yeah.
Excellent. It might be something threatened for the Project Management Institute. Are you telling me that plans are not valid? So I think that's a good reflection. And I'm happy to introduce the president of our Lebanon. As you know, PMI, whoever doesn't know PMI, PMI is an association, the leading association for project management. We're about community building, we're about membership, and obviously certification. The most famous one is the Project Management Professional, PMP, and the CAPM, the Certified Associate Project Manager. I'm not doing publicity here, but I'm just gonna say, like, plans are valid. Reem Riam is our president of Lebanon chapter, who I invited her because we are focusing on empowering youth, and I would like you all to get in touch with her. And that's what makes us, to Noor's point, update the standards of PMI. For us, a plan cannot be just stick. You can't stick it and live with it. And that's where agility comes into place. We had to update all of our standards, our certification. Just to her point, is that the plan can't be valid forever. And we need this adaptability within the journey. Especially the stories are, I think your stories are evidence as to how we need to adapt and plan. Can't stick all of the time. So now I think Julia is having another story, another perspective of a successful life where she's into. I know that she has some academic background, she started somewhere, but now she ended up having humanitarian vision, supporting women empowerment, very, credible. I think you're aligning with SDG goal. Please tell us more about your amazing mission.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia. I am the director of Roof and Roots. After coming back from the States and working in the humanitarian sector, I came to a realization that there are a lot of women who lack basic needs. So we did fund the Rose Pad, which is an initiative that operates women to women. So we worked, our main goal in this project, which is Rose, it is a menstrual hygiene pad. We do implementation and training, and our main focus is for the women to be more independent and expand their growth, and to make sure that to not stop dreaming, and everything is possible. And that's basically it. So this is basically our project. And I'm sorry, we started with a project with the UN Women. They funded our project, which is Rose, and because our project was a success, and we were more than 180 women worked with us in this project. So because it was a success, they opened in Burj Hamoud and Beirut, which is, this alone is a success for us. So thank you so much. And this
amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Again, I'm going to go back to Dr. Adnan, who reminded me of a very, touching quote. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. I think your story is an evidence, like other, especially your story, is an amazing evidence of you got more than you seek. And now tell us how technology helps you get more than you seek as a traditional medical doctor, your path into technology, embracing it and taking it further as an entrepreneur.
Great question. So as I said, first of all, when I left Lebanon, I wanted to come back to my country, to Lebanon, to change things in healthcare. I wanted, first of all, to understand how medicine is working and why a doctor or a hospital can decline a patient. Why is it possible, and why our place of birth determines our right to healthcare, and that was not logic for me. So I studied for 15 years surgery. I became urologist surgeon, and then I started my routine with a very good salary and success as everyone can define it, the success of a doctor making operations and having his routine. But I was not able to change healthcare. I was not able, to change the life of patients as I wanted as a surgeon. And it's sad to say this, because after 15 years I realized that, okay, I'm a surgeon, but I'm following a routine, and it was boring for me. Not only boring, but I was realizing that I will not be able to leave an impact in the world of healthcare. I will not be able to come back to my country, because there's a lot of surgeons in my country, in Lebanon and in other countries. They are saving the life of patients, but the main problem that I discovered when I was young and later is access to healthcare, and I was not able to solve this problem. So the only way I found is transforming myself into entrepreneur. So I first of all tried to understand technology. I went to CNRS in France, which is the National Center of Research Institute, and I studied artificial intelligence and how we can use the technology and artificial intelligence into healthcare. And I made my thesis into this field, my science research, and my first work was how to predict the evolution of cancer using artificial intelligence. And I realized that to do that, we needed a lot of data, of course, and we need to connect healthcare. And before I go to France, when I was in Lebanon, when I decided to quit Lebanon, everyone told me that the best healthcare system in the world is in France. That's why I chose France. But I realized also after 15 years in France that, in fact, yes, it's a very good healthcare system, but we treat people when they are sick. So you are sick, you come to me as a doctor, and I treat you at this moment. But I cannot prevent your sickness or your disease, and I cannot predict the evolution of this one. And this is a major problem. And when AI came to the world, in all the domains, we started preventing things, predicting things in financial situations, and a lot of in social networks, in social media, etc. And in healthcare, we were really struggling in this field, and I decided to make it my fight. To change the world of healthcare by applying technology on medical data, trying to prevent diseases and predict diseases. And this was the beginning of my first company, where I proposed a technology to process healthcare data and to try to analyze it and try to find issues automatically and give the power to the patient with a card, etc. So I will not go into details for this one, because it's over now, this first adventure, and now I'm continuing the same fight, the fight of giving healthcare access to everyone, using technology, using artificial intelligence. I would like here just to highlight the presence of someone who is really very important to me. There's two people, but Wissam is really important. It's an honor for me and for us that he came today. He is my new associate and partner in our new adventure, new international company. seeking to transform the access to healthcare with virtual clinics and artificial intelligence. And Wissam is a very successful.
We're going to make sure to hear from him. I'm going to put you on the spot.
He is really one of the most successful Lebanese entrepreneurs abroad, leading several companies. So we are now, this is the update. We are now launching this new adventure in healthcare, and our main fight is healthcare for all.
Congratulations. Well, I think we all welcome that the concept of prevent versus inspect has always been the direction, even as a project management institute in our standards, we always recommend prevent versus fix. And this is what leads me to another perspective. I think we've heard from all the panelists. I was given the freedom to invite guests. Wissam is going to be our second guest. I'm going to move to a very successful young guy, another perspective of an engineer who's got a family business, but he's still very much happy with the senior project manager title, Kevin Jmail, who is our special guest today. He's proudly PMP certified, and he's the project director as their own family company, which is Algeco, a facade contracting company in Lebanon. The aim, obviously, he's going to take on this youth innovation and all of the mindset supporting his father business to Europe, US, and the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia. He's like Noor, a mechanical engineer with minor in construction management, and achieved lots of certification, including PMP leadership and a facade engineering certificate, currently an MBA student. Kevin, please take us through another perspective of this alliance between engineering. First, what's your feeling about the engineering? How this specialization made you more successful? The dynamics inside you. I know how you learn and you keep on learning. The engineering and the mix with project management and the mix in your job. What does it feel? And what success means to you throughout this whole journey? So we can't wait to hear you. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for being here. First of all, I'm the project director of Algeco. What we do is aluminum, glass, and steel. So our main work is in construction, and mainly facades, the building envelope. Through my journey, starting as a mechanical engineer and then many other certifications, my aim was to grow my family business at first. But to do that, I had to work on myself and develop my personal skills. So starting a business from scratch is hard, but also going into a already existing business and improving it is also hard, very hard, especially if there are some old generation who's already present there, who work in a certain kind of way, and you want to change that. Some people and some of my friends who also had family businesses decided to leave their family and go start something new because they found that it was an easier path for them. I think that I had the privilege of starting from somewhere and growing it. Therefore, I was really motivated in changing our company. I started hiring few people which graduated with me as a small team. We created a small internship inside the company to give the sense of learning, of growth, and of something new that's happening. And with time, the company was around 40 to 50 employees. We are today 550 people working together. We had a very important milestone 3 years ago. Everyone knows about the Beirut explosion, and it was our main work from 3 years until today. It was a turning point for everyone, I'm sure. It was a wake-up call for everyone, and it affected so many people on personal level. For me, the Beirut explosion changed the way I think and how I work, and it taught me how to become ready for any situation that's going to come after that. I also worked for 6 years in the Red Cross, and I used to give disaster management trainings. Luckily for that, I used these skills in my work. I had to hire so many people really fast and train them to start rebuilding our city. We had 25 years of experience from my father and my grandfather, which we had to teach and help everyone who's working with us for us to be able to rebuild. It's not easy. Moreover, through this time, we had to overcome so many challenges. After the explosion, before the explosion, there was the revolution, there was an economic crisis, and after the explosion, it was the peak of the pandemic. So we were not able to work for financial reasons, for the shortage of resources, because no one is importing the same quantity of resources to Lebanon anymore. And moreover, healthcare was also another barrier in front of us. So with all of that, thankfully, we stayed strong, we worked together. I had to even work more on myself to be able to overcome harder challenges, and here we are today. I think, I'm sure that the problems in Lebanon aren't solved, and we're still very far from that, but we are still here, we're still working on it, and the things have improved, we can say improved, as in terms of COVID, a bit in terms of economy, and definitely we have rebuilt the cities. People are now living in their homes and in their safe place. At least that's why we are all here today.
Amazing, amazing story of hope, resilience, perseverance. So see, such stories go beyond like he's an engineer or certified. It really, this is the impact. That's a real evidence of, success. It's not really about you being able to have a car or go out or travel. So see, that's the spectrum that I would like all of the youth to think about. This impact, like when you're successful, it goes really exponentially far to make an impact to your society. It's not really about this, the mentality, like he could say, like, I am a contributor to build Lebanon. And he could say one day, Adnan, and the same for the rest. And there is a story that in my events in the States, in NASA, there has been a lady cleaning, and then the CEO saw her by chance. Oh, what are you doing? It's 8 p.m. What are you doing? And I said, yeah, I'm trying to help man go to the moon. So she embraced the same mission of the most senior engineer at NASA. So just to let you know that it's beyond who you are, who's your father, what you do, what's your certification, is really this sense of contribution and belonging and the perseverance, just believing in yourself, in your country, and so on. I want to stop here. It's amazing. I can spend the whole day hearing from a very rich discussions there, but I would like to give chances to the youth around us. Please ask anyone, or just comment, you don't need to ask. Bring to the table, what's your thoughts, what's your inspiration? We heard a lot about from our best panelists here. Any thoughts, any specific questions? Which story, spoke to you? What resonates to your own story? Any comment, and you can speak in, anything. That is, yeah, great. Machi?
I have a question. I have a question to Noor. Noor, you're studying at MIT. You're an engineer at MIT. It's the best uni in the world. What advice would you give to youth in Lebanon?
Yeah, so thank you for your question. I originally did not even think, as I said, I was planning on going to AUB. And then when I was applying, the credit card was not working anymore, because that was the time where credit cards stopped working in Lebanon. And it was the day before the deadline, and I just said, okay, I'm not gonna apply. And then right after, my sister just happens to walk in the room, and we were like, can we try your credit card? And we did, and it worked, so I actually applied. And over there, it's something very real, is the concept of imposter syndrome, which is when you get somewhere, but you still somehow feel like you don't deserve it, or you feel like you're not good enough for it. And where I go to school, everyone there was top of their school at some point, and everyone is some geniuses. So I feel imposter syndrome all the time. I'm like, how did I even get accepted here? So my advice is just to know that if you make it, you make it, and that you should always apply, even if you think there's almost no chance. It's almost no chance. It's not no chance. So
Wow. Any other question or thought? Yes, Alexandre.
Hi. So Dr. Adnan, your story is super inspiring. Here in the room, we have students studying all around the globe, from the US to Europe. What advice would you give to all of us as we look at your own story as someone who had to leave Lebanon and study abroad? So what advice would it be?
Thank you for your question. What I can tell you is that I think that you don't need to follow what others want you to become. You need to follow what you want to become, what yourself want to become. And it's very important to plan for it. And this is maybe the first advice that I give you, that plan for your life. And if you cannot plan for all your life, plan at least for the next 10 years. And this is what I've done in the beginning. I planned for the first 10 years and then the other 10 years, and this is how I discovered when writing my path that I was not on the right path. And if today I'm talking about success, don't forget that I failed also. I made a first cash out on my first company. It was great, but the second one failed. And now I'm launching the third one. So plan for it and believe in yourself. And don't forget that we need to change this world. We need to leave an impact and not just follow. I was in the hospital. I was just following the routine, following other people, and it was great, okay, but I was just following, okay? We're not able to change things. So I think this is my first advice. I have a lot to say also, but let's make it short and really plan for your next 10 years, let's say.
Yeah, it's already very, very important. Any other final question? Do we still have time for a question, please? Your name, please, and
hi,
your...
Hi, I'm Jad Ardakani. I'm also a medical student, so that's why my question is to Dr. Adnan as well. We know that in medicine, there's a lot that comes around with just being a doctor, being a surgeon, with all the pressures from society, from yourself, from putting a lot of work into this career to where you got now. How was this stage of you transitioning from just being a surgeon, from working in a hospital, to moving into tech? I can imagine a lot of pressure, a lot of questioning yourself, and how was this experience for you?
I don't know, because really when I took this decision, I mean, quit the hospital, stop my salary. I had a great salary, and when I told this to my parents, for example, and to people around me, they told me that I was crazy. And I was starting again, I mean, with nothing. So I think you just need to take the risk. When you plan for it, it's okay. You can plan, you can say, okay, I will find solution, and this is how I will do it, but just take the risk. Take the risk, because if you don't take the risk in this life, I mean, time is limited. Your time is limited, and you will not leave an impact. And what is your name?
Jad.
Jad
Yes.
What?
Ardakani.
Ardakani. If you want in 20 or 30 years that people say, Jad Ardakani, we know him, he made something, he changed something, you need to plan for this, you know, to really leave your name, leave an impact, because when you will be gone after 60 years, I don't know, no one will remember you, I mean, except your children, your family. But so this is how we can change the world. And one last thing, maybe if you allow me, do not forget, I mean, I will say three things. Do not forget your parents, and I will say it again.
Congratulations, you have an amazing son.
Because they are entrepreneurs by building these generations today. So do not forget your parents, your family, change their life, first of all. This is what I've done, first of all. Do not, second advice, do not forget your team, people who were loyal, and I would like to thank Mace, who is here, who was member of my first team, second team, etc., and he's always here, and you cannot do it by yourself. You need to build a team. And finally, do not forget people who trust you. And I would like also to thank Wissam, because you need to find people who trust you to begin new adventures and to take this risk. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Any final question or comment? Do we still have time? Okay, please.
This is
Your
actually
name?
another question for Dr. Adnan, because as someone who's interested in the crossover between medicine and technology, your story is especially motivating. It's a bit more abstract, this question. I realize that a lot of opportunity typically lies outside of your skill set and outside of what you prepare for. How do you recommend someone going about approaching a field or an opportunity that they have no experience in, like moving outside of what you know? How do you recommend that process? Because that's usually where a lot of great things happen.
Well, as I said, I went to the CNRS to study artificial intelligence. So this double skills, I went to learn it because, and even financial things, I made also an executive MBA. I did not say it, but I made also an executive MBA at HEC at Paris because when you are a medical student, they don't learn you how to build a company, how to raise funds, how to, all the financial things, and this is really important. And we don't have time today, but one of the important subject for me that we need also to look at and to learn is financial independence, your and our all financial independence, financial freedom. And when you know how it works in the capital world, you will be able to build your path and to learn other skills in order to, create any project who will allow you to transform the investment into capital, into value, and to create value. And this is important. So I will not have the time today to talk about it, but look at the internet, what is financial freedom and how you can transform capital and intellectual value into investment and into companies, into projects. And this is a path that will allow you to build successful companies. But you will fail also, don't forget this, you will fail. Maybe a first one, a second one, you will fail. And if you don't fail, you will not be able to succeed. So learn other things. If you like artificial intelligence, go and make some courses in artificial intelligence. You have it online today. Everything is easy today. You just need to take the risk to start something else.
Yeah, I'd like to add, if you allow me, educational institutions like the Project Management Institute and many others have now transformed the way they teach and all of the curriculum to consistently support what you're talking about. Like the whole education is no longer long, traditional, sitting in classrooms. I think the education sector, like healthcare, has transformed to cater the learning, the hyper learning, the concept that I'm telling you about. With all of the offerings, even PMI, we have some bite-sized learning. We weren't touching into problem solving with the problem solving, design thinking. So if you look at all of the institution, you could see amazing, like sustainability, energy. You will be impressed that the way education providers are providing the education nowadays and in the future is to cater this transition quickly and effectively so you don't get threatened like 20 and 30 years ago, hey, I need to leave my life and go and sit. You can keep doing, but you will be impressed that you can jump into a new field correctly and effectively. You're not alone in that. So just as he said, as per our stories, there are many million stories and millions of people out there who aren't doing things that they started. And you could always change that at every milestone of your life. Just have the courage and do it and connect, search online to educators who are making things easy for you. That's my message to you. Excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna give, first we're happy to have you, Wissam, with us. We know how successful entrepreneur you are. Just final word from you, we're happy to have you, please. To the youth, advice to the youth.
We're gonna start a new business. Hi, hello everyone. I'm sorry, I just wake up. I came from California, it's different time. So, as Adnan said, you have to believe in yourself. now we're gonna start a new business, and it's supposed to be like telemedicine or artificial intelligence for his care, and that's it. You have to believe in yourself. That's all.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think that's important message. So shall we, I think, any final comment? So just few words to close. I made this life symphony, in the middle of the symphony of life, where we sway between simplicity and complexity. You know, we live the smartness and people engagement, the professional life and personal life, the fun and the hard work. So we live really in this contradiction, as I said, in the change, in the enigmatic change and the simplicity that we all require. Let's all traverse the boundless realm of grace. Let us all embrace uncertainty, courage, growth and innovation. And finally, I'm going to invite everyone to embark in transformative. I think the message today, let us not do same things. We want to grow. To Dr. Adnan's point, we won't make an impact. Let's transform, let's be courageous in us to embark in a transformative initiative and journey which makes everybody's life different and impact the world. Thank you so much for your attention. Thanks, my panelists.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, most honorable panelists, for taking part in the discussion and for sharing your experiences. Thank you, Mrs. Grace, for moderating our discussion, for reminding us how important is the curiosity and seeking your own perspective, and also for reminding us that no matter how successful one becomes, it is still important to remain humble and to take care about the others. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Then yes, feel free, and thank you very much, and thank you very much for keeping up with our short delay. We're especially grateful for Julia for sharing her experience, for reminding us how grassroots initiatives are important and how they can greatly benefit from international support and cooperating with international organizations. Thank you for doing what you are doing here in Lebanon. Thank you. We are very grateful to Noor for sharing her experience. Your experience is very important for us as you're still a student, and it is something that we can relate to. But on the other hand, it's truly humbling. Studying at the best hard sciences university in the world and switching from astrophysics to mechanical engineering, we are all truly humbled. And me myself, I regret that I was not that good at maths at school. So thank you very much, and thank you for sharing your